Hi, this is Dale Goducci with ERA Credit Services, and today I'm going to talk to you about credit cards, either your best friend or your worst enemy when it comes to finances, especially your credit score. Be sure to stay tuned to the end because I'm going to share with you how you can pay zero interest on existing credit card balances for up to a year or more. All right, welcome back. So when it comes to credit cards, there's really two groups of people, isn't there? There's people without credit cards and there's people with credit cards. So let's talk about people without credit cards. Some people just don't want credit cards. They feel better about paying cash for everything and not owing anybody anything. And I totally get that. And then there's people that don't have credit cards because they've had trouble in the past with those credit cards and they just don't want that temptation and get back in trouble again. And lastly, there's people that don't have credit cards because they don't have the credit history or the existing credit score to be able to go out and get credit cards. Now, it's okay if you don't have credit cards and don't want credit cards, and it's okay up until the point you want to use your credit. So in other words, go out and buy a car or get a mortgage loan or something like that. Then it's going to hurt you that you don't have the history of using credit cards, because a big part of your credit score is your length of credit history, the types of credit accounts, and your payment history. That totals up to 60%, and credit cards can really help you positively impact all three and increase your credit score dramatically. Now, if you've had trouble in the past with credit cards, you don't want the temptation of having credit cards and getting into trouble anymore, or you simply don't want to owe anybody any money, again, I get it, but I still recommend that you have at least one credit card. Now, here's how you want to use that one credit card. So hear me out on this. Just use it for things that you're going to spend money on every month anyway. How about gas, groceries? You got to spend money on gas and groceries. Go ahead and use the card and then pay it off to a zero balance every single month. And that's the only thing you're going to use that credit card for. So no temptation. And at the end of the day, you don't owe any balances to anybody. That's a great way to use a credit card, but to still get all the advantages from credit score, credit history, and all of that with that credit card. Now, if you're that person that simply can't get a credit card because of past mishaps with your credit history or your current credit score, then go out and get a secured card. It's surprising to me how many people don't know what a secured card is, but you can go to banks, credit unions, and other places where Capital One actually has a secured credit card where you can put a sum of money on account with, let's say, the bank. They hold it in a savings account for you, and then that's going to be the limit of the card. You can't go over that limit. So they know they're going to get their money back. But here's the key. If you do get a secured card, make sure it reports to all three credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion every single month. Otherwise, you're not going to get the benefit of having that card. The benefit of having a secured card for you is to get that credit history going on each of your three credit reports. Now, in the description, after you're done watching this video, go to the description and you'll see a link to a credit card that I highly recommend, a secured card. Okay, let's switch over to talking about people that have credit cards. If you have a balance on your credit card, is it plus or minus 30% of your limit? So in other words, if your credit card limit is, let's say, $1,000 to make it simple, is your balance $300 or more or $300 or less? It's a key. It's a major key because that's called debt utilization, and debt utilization is 30% of your credit score. So in addition to making sure that your balance is 30% or less of your limit, here's another huge key. Even if your balance is less than 30%, which is a good thing, what interest are you paying on that credit card? So I'll give you an example. Let's say, again, you have a $1,000 balance. You're paying 25% interest, which is very high, by the way. and you have a $30 a month minimum payment. If you only make the minimum payment on that balance, it's going to take you 11 years to pay off that card, and it's going to cost you $1,499 in interest. So your $1,000 balance just went up to $2,499. And that's if you don't use the card anymore. So pay attention to what your interest rate is and how much of your monthly payment is going to interest or going to principal. Now, again, for those of you with credit cards, here's what I recommend. Get out a notepad, write down all your cards. Now, you should have 3 credit cards or less. If you have more than 3 credit cards, that actually might be hurting your score. In the credit card world, or the number of credit cards that you have, more is not necessarily better. But here's what I will tell you also. Let's say you have more than 3. Don't go close those accounts. That could hurt your credit score as well. So what you want to do is you want to write down the balances of each of those cards, the interest rates, and the minimum monthly payment amounts. Write down those things, the balances, the interest rates, and the minimum monthly payment amount. So first thing, when you write down all this information, are the balances on your credit cards 30% or more? That's one thing that you want to determine. And if it is, then go ahead and pay it down. The other thing is what is the interest rate on those credit cards? Is it 17.67% or more? Because that's what the average credit card interest rate is as I'm recording this video. Of course, you might be watching this video sometime in the future, so just Google average credit card interest rate, and that particular interest rate will pop up for the time that you're watching this video. So you want to pay as little interest as possible for sure, and there's a link in the description below the video to our online credit card interest calculator, so you can figure out what kind of interest you're going to pay depending on the payment and the interest rate and your balance and so forth. So you're going to use that to determine the interest. Now, what if your balances are out of control and you can't pay them down? You can only make the minimum monthly payment because so much is going to interest. Well, here's the good news, and I told you to stay tuned for this. There's a lot of offers out there to transfer your existing balances to a new credit card with 0% interest for a year and even more. So if you'd like to see this information in writing, there's a link to a blog post I did about this entire topic in the description. Also in the description is a link to a secured credit card that I recommend, as I mentioned before. There's our link to a credit card interest calculator for you. There's a link to a no interest transfer balance credit card offers page, so you can see all kinds of different credit cards that you can potentially take your existing balances, get them out of those high interest cards into a 0% offer for a year or more to help you, get some time to be able to pay down those balances. So that would be great. And listen, if you are having some other challenges beyond just with credit cards, you've got derogatory items on your credit report of any kind that's dragging your score down, and you really need some help to try to get those removed, absolutely, there's a link in the description to our page on our website where you can go and book a phone appointment to talk with me. Let's spend 20 minutes on the phone. Let's find out what's going on with you. It's free. There's no obligation. I just want to see if what I do can help you. And if so, we'll talk about it. But and maybe I'll just give you some good free information. Who knows? But we got to talk first. So if you found this information helpful, please like our page, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you can get notification of all the new videos that I come out with, usually once a week. Some great information on credit scores, the credit repair industry. So go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell. We'll get those videos out to you. You'll learn more about credit, which is going to really help you with your finances for the rest of your life. Have yourself a great day. Top